everyone, so this is Haven Ditko and I am going to be doing a tutorial here on skyboxes. Now, Unity 5 is kind of new still, and a lot of the stuff that you're going to find in the asset stores is related to Unity 4. And sometimes upgrading material made for one version doesn't quite cross over into the next version very well. And on some of the skyboxes, if you try to bring it into Unity 5 from 4, you get like this really weird pixelation going on in it. So the best thing to do is actually just create your own skybox, and it's really easy. The hardest part you might have is getting a hold of the textures. There are textures. You can take a skybox like from number 4, and you can take the textures out of it and use it for a skybox in version number 5. That's kind of what I've done. I've also taken those set of textures into Gimp, and I'm going to show you how they work in Gimp and how they work in Unity here. So you can actually make your own skyboxes if you want to, your own textures for it. It's really easy and a lot of fun. So the first thing that I'm going to do is in my project window, I'm going to right click and I'm going to create a new material. And this one I'm just going to call Sky. It's a sky material. With this selected, and in the inspector, I'm going to change the sky shader from standard to skybox to 6-sided. Now, when this comes up, you'll see that we've got a slot for 6 different images, and these all represent the different sides of a cube. We're going to texture each one of those so that they create our actual skybox. So clicking in here again in the projects window, and I'm going to create a new folder, and this folder I'm going to name Sky Materials, and I'm going to double click to open up that folder. Now I have in my browsers for my computer, let me go ahead and find them real quick, I have the images for a skybox. So I'm going to bring them and drag and drop them right in. And you can see here are all 6 of them now. So I want to go back to my sky material. I want it selected. And then I'm going to go to my sky materials folder. And if you click on any of these, then you're going to get the settings over here for the texture itself, but we don't want that. We just want to carefully drag these into their appropriate slots. You can see that these are named back, left, right, up, and down, and front up here. This one is back, so I'm just going to left click and drag it to the back. This one is down, so I'm just going to click it there. And front, and left, right, and up. Okay, with all of those done now, I can go ahead and make sure first of all that my overlay here is on. Alright, and remember we turned this on before when we were doing the fog. So even if we went here and turned the fog off, we would still need to have that on. So back here again for the materials, here's the material. I'm going to come back into the lighting tab for it, and in the scene tab within the lighting tab, you see where it says default skybox. Well, I'm going to click on this to open up a window, and now I'm going to find my sky material, and it's right here. So when I click on it, you see that it instantly shows up. And I actually have my skybox made now. And it's all seamless. Well, actually we got a little bit of a seam there, don't we? So when this was made, it wasn't made too perfectly. But we can fix that if we wanted to. And we can make this perfect if we want to as well. Yeah, that's not as seamless as it should be. But it was free, so we get what we pay for. Anyways, another thing that we might want to consider when we're using different types of skies like this is the light that's being shown onto all these areas is kind of white. You see the white color here? And that's okay, but at night we might want to tone down that white a little bit. So let's click on the light, and in the inspector tab for the light, we have color. We can actually click on this and we can change that color a little bit, and you'll see it instantly getting a little bit grayer right there. And this is toning down a little bit as well. We could even add a little bit of a blue tint to that. And there we go. Looking pretty good. So now we have our skybox, we have our shadows, we have our light, we have fog, we have our terrain, our trees, and our plants. So, anyways, have fun with that part. I'm going to go ahead and close down Unity for a minute, and I'll pull up Gimp. Now, in Gimp here, I have this image, and it is 4096, 4096. That is 1024 4 times up and down, because the images that I'm using for my skybox are going to be 1024s, and I want to have a way to lay them all out. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here and create a new layer, and this new layer is going to be 1024 by 1024, and click OK. And this image is actually up in the upper corner here. So I'm going to pick a sky color, maybe a little bit brighter this time, like that. Click OK. And my paint bucket, I will paint in that square. So now this one here, I want to duplicate this 5 times. I want 6 of them. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to come over here to my view, and I'm going to show my grid. Now you can't see the grid really. I'm going to zoom in so you can see the grid is really, really tiny. It's only 10 pixels apart, and when we're this far away you can't really see those pixels that defined. So I'm going to go to the image and configure grid, and I'm going to configure this grid to 1024, the size of my pictures. And you'll see I've got 4 of them going across and then up and down. Now if I go to view and snap to grid and my move tool selected, I can move these in order here, like that. So this is going to be the background color of my sky, and when I'm doing this, I'm going to make sure that I do not mess around with the edges on any of this, especially for a beginner. When you start getting into doing this, you can line up your sides and stuff, but this is going to be, let's say you walk into the box. Okay, so if you walk into a box, this square is going to be the ceiling above your head. And this edge of the ceiling is going to be farthest away from you, and it's going to line up to the wall that you're facing. This is going to be the wall top to bottom that is on your right hand side, and this is on your left hand side. This is going to be the wall that you actually walk through. So this is going to be the ceiling, and this is going to be behind you, and it's called the front. So with each of these here, we want to actually name these. Okay, so up here, this is going to be the front. This one's in the center. This is going to be the up. The one here, that's this one, is going to be the back. This one is going to be down. That's the floor. This one is going to be left. And this will be right. And now what happens is we can paint on all of these. You can paint directly on these ones, but if you want to, sometimes it's nice to use, more layers. So if I were to use more layers, what I would do is maybe click on the right and choose to duplicate it. So this is a right copy. And I would use my eraser to start with. And I would just erase all of that. So let me bring my brush size up. And let me find a normal brush, not the array one here. And erase that. And you can't really tell I'm erasing it because it's on top of a duplicate. But if I turn the original off, you see that it's gone. Okay? Turn it back on. And I can do the same with the left. And on this one, I can erase the copy. This one I'll duplicate. It's the down, and so I can erase the copy. And you can check over here that you've erased it all. And here's the back, so I'm going to go ahead and erase that. The up I'll duplicate, and then the up I will erase. And we have one more. So duplicate it and then erase it. And what we're doing this for is because this image is actually only this size. It's 1024 by 1024. If we had just made a whole image here, the whole image would be, 4096, 4096. So now I'm free to be on this layer and say, pick a white paint and my paintbrush. And I can pick some clouds. Let's see, we'll choose these clouds here. And so now I can, whoops, which layer am I on again? I am on the front, so that's this one actually up here. Draw a few clouds here. I can come down to this one, which is the up. I can angle it a little. And then angle it down. And as you can see, you can just make your, oops, I keep going on the wrong thing here, the back copy. The only one that you don't want to do is you don't want to do this one down here. And that's because it's the floor. And you don't want to do any of the sides, and then that way they would be seamless with all of the other bottom sides. So I'm just going to go ahead, and here's the left. We'll throw a couple. I know these are bad clouds. And then the right. Just to give you an idea. You can even pick a star brush and give it a little different color just for fun. Oops, and see again, I'm getting ahead of myself and I'm not, that's the down. And then one more. Okay, so now this layer here is 1024 and so is this one. They're in the same place, so I can do this and merge down. I can merge down each transparent layer with the clouds onto its background. And of course that one had nothing on it, but just in case I wanted to put something there, I could have. Okay, so here are all 6 of our sides. So now I'm just going to take them and I'm just going to move them all into the same area here. And I'm going to turn off the grid. Alright, and then image, fit canvas to layers. And it's not doing it for me. And that's because this layer's in here, and this layer is the big one. So I'm going to take this one and delete it. And now if I do image and canvas to layers, you see that it's now 1024, 1024, and I've got these all. Now the only thing that I didn't cover in this one so far is, actually let me go a step back here. And that is when you have, actually we'll just do this. Okay, so the front stays orientated just like it is. Okay? No, actually the up stays orientated just like it is. So let's turn off all the other ones. And one second. Okay, so this is the up, and it's orientated just right. So I can go to File and Export, and I can do it to my Sky Images, Sky Materials, and I'm just going to name this one Up. And I probably named it wrong. Nope, I named it right. Okay, so that's exported as soon as it gets done. The next one is front. Now, the bottom of this one is touching this edge here. And what we want to do is we want all of the edges that touch the sides of the up one facing up. So this one actually has to get flipped 180 degrees or flip it on its vertical. So with this one selected, image, this is the front. It's going to be the same on all of them, any one that you do. I'm going to go to layer, transform, and flip vertically. Okay, and so now I can file and I can export this one to front. Alright, that one's done. Now the back one is the only one that's actually the right way. So that one stays. So I'll go to File and Export. Call this one Back. And that one's done. The next one is down, and it doesn't matter. It stays as it is as well. So export down. The next one here is left, and this, again, this edge is the one that touched the edge of the up. So this has to be rotated 90 degrees clockwise. So layer, and it'll be the same on all of them. Left has to be rotated 90 degrees clockwise. And now you see that the clouds are up on the top. So now we can save this and export it as left. The last one has to be rotated 90 degrees counterclockwise. We want this edge, because this is the edge that touches the up one again, to be at the top. So layer, transform, 90 degrees counterclockwise. And so now that's at the top. So now we can go export and we can do it to the right side. Okay, so now you can see I have those images here. Don't worry about that one, it'll turn out. So I have those images there, and I can actually go into Unity now, and I can create a new folder, and I can call it Light Sky Textures. open this one up and drag my 6 textures into it. In my assets, I can right click and create a new material. And this material I'll call Light Sky. Okay, with this selected again, and standard Skybox 6-sided, I can click on my light sky textures and put them where they belong. And up. Okay, so that's all good to go right there. And then go to lighting. And this one is no longer the one that I want. That's the one that's still showing. So if I click this and go up to light sky, you can now see that my new light sky is in. And you can see that it's actually seamless. And that's because I didn't have my images crossing over each other, and I had them lined up to the grid really nice and neat. So that may not be the kind of sky you want, but it's definitely the easiest way to make one. So please subscribe to the channel, leave comments or suggestions, like it if you like it, share it if you can't want to, and happy creating. We'll catch you on the next tutorial.